Hi, welcome back. We're here at Badger Rock with another virtual workshop series. We are going to do another recipe today. I believe this workshop should be coming out on April 7th, which is a Tuesday, which is the voting day. So if you haven't gotten out already, go make sure you go hit your voting polls and get out there and vote. But we got an awesome recipe for you today. We got, when I was thinking about this recipe, it was right before April Fool's Day, and we're actually coming off of St. Patty's Day too, so it was kind of me thinking about those two holidays when I thought about this recipe, and it was something I wanted to try for a while too. But we're gonna be making green spinach pancakes today. Honestly, it's a real normal pancake recipe. Biggest difference is we're just gonna add in some blended spinach today, both for some healthy, good nutrients in there, but also just for a fun food. It's gonna be green in the end. Looks really cool. Maybe if you ever do like a Dr. Seuss day and you do like green eggs and ham, maybe make some green egg or green pancakes to go with it too. But we'll get it started. Just like any other, well, this one's gonna be a buttermilk pancake mix. So we're gonna be using buttermilk with this one, flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and then for wet ingredients, yeah, buttermilk, eggs, olive oil, and some spinach to be blended up together. But pretty easy recipe. A lot of just one measuring units in this one. So it's 1 cup of flour. Let me get some flour. It's gone too far over. That'll do. We got 1 cup of flour. We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Get this in here. 1 teaspoon. We got a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Try to get this out. Teaspoon of baking soda, and then a half teaspoon of salt as well. Let's do an eyeball on that one. And then 1 tablespoon of sugar to go in this one. A little bit of sweetness. Alright. So there's our dry ingredients. We'll just give this a little whisk real quick just to get it all incorporated. Alright, so we'll put that to the side for now. Next we'll do our wet ingredients. So this one we'll also do a cup of buttermilk. Yep. And right now I'm doing this in a bowl, but normally you'd put this in a blender. We do have a bigger blender that we could use, but we also have an immersion blender. So just to save a few dishes for doing that, I'm just going to use the immersion blender in this bowl. So a cup of buttermilk. We'll do a tablespoon of olive oil. Do 1 egg. We're going to be using about a cup's worth of spinach. I like using just about a handful. My handful is probably a little bit bigger than a cup, but I like using a little extra spinach, just trying to get a little more of those nutrients in there too. So I'll add this in here, the spinach on top. All right, looks good. And here we go. Here's our wet ingredient mixture. Again, got that nice green color. A little added fun for our food. Adds a little eye appeal. And then for this, we're just going to slowly mix it in with our dry mix here. We're just adding in more of this mixture. Again, just the oil, buttermilk, egg, and spinach right now. So just mixing that together. Try not to get it super or over mix it. But a nice thick consistency. So here's our pancake batter. Again, nice green color. Yeah, this is really appealing to me, like, eating something green kind of makes me feel like I'm eating something healthy too. So, all right, so we got some butter in the pan. I'm just gonna do probably about maybe a couple teaspoons worth. We'll do some silver dollar pancakes over here. A little smaller. I'll start with that much. How about that? All right, we'll let these cook. Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, these are just really fun. I think I'll definitely make these a lot more often. Again, just kind of adding a little bit of nutrition to your pancakes. Uh, these can be eaten as savory or sweet, with some maple syrup. We had some with maple syrup that we harvested not too long ago from our trees outside. So yeah, looking forward to that. Trying them out more. And then yeah, savory pancake. I mean, I always like eating pancakes with like breakfast foods as well. Throw a little sausage on top of it or something. Whatever you're feeling. And then as for cooking these, I'm just gonna wait for a little bit, let them cook a little longer. Usually once they start getting some bubbles on the top, like a lot of bubbles start forming on the very top of it, it's usually an indicator that it's starting to cook or it should be setting in throughout the pancake. Yeah, just got a little bit. Oh, they're starting to combine a little bit. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this recipe. We actually made pancakes with our class this week in garden class here at Badger Rock. Again, we used our maple syrup from our trees outside. Did a lot of the tapping in February into March, and I think we came out with maybe about a quart's worth of maple syrup. I don't know. It was about maybe like 30 gallons of sap though that we had total. So it was a lot of sap that turned into syrup eventually. But yeah, as you can see though, our pancakes are just looking nice and green. Again, I'd probably make these maybe for next St. Patrick's Day, or again, the reason I thought of these was April Fool's Day. I was like, oh, this is kind of funny, like a green pancake. You don't always think of that, April Fools. But I guess April's also bringing, April showers, bringing May flowers. We're seeing a lot of grass growing, so just a good time of the year, getting a little bit of green in our lives as well. All right, so these are coming along. I'm starting to see a few bubbles starting to form. If you're getting a little weary, you can always kind of just check underneath them. But yeah, I had these for dinner the other night. We actually had breakfast for dinner. One of my favorite things to have for dinner, honestly. Just a really big fan of breakfast foods in general. Always one of the easiest ones to make, I think, too. And yeah, I got this recipe. There's a lot of other recipes I saw with spinach pancakes. Some of them were more like vegan side too. They're using nutritional yeast and like almond flour. They're just a little bit different variations on it. Some of them just use regular milk as well. You don't have to actually use buttermilk. But I kind of wanted some more uh, fluffier pancakes too. So I really wanted to try the buttermilk recipe. So that's the one we're using today. And yeah, I'll make sure I'll drop the recipe in the comments too. Again, super simple, mostly all just like one cup, 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of measuring. Really easy, really simple. All right, this one's starting to get there. I think I'll flip this one first. Let's see how my flip skills are. Oh, almost perfect. I'll get this one too while we're at it. Ooh. There you go, a little golden brown, a little green underneath, Makes for a fun meal right here. But yeah, so these are done on one side. I'll probably let them cook for about another minute or so on the other, just to get a nice little brown on the other side as well. But yeah, this is, yeah, like I said, just a really cool visual. I think for kids too, honestly, you can't really taste the spinach in it. There's a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt in there. It tastes just like a regular pancake. And honestly, I think it's more fun, like with the green look to it. And for those parents out there, you're adding a little bit of nutrition. There we go. It's brown on the other side as well. And here you go. Here's our green pancakes. Got a nice green on the outside, a little golden brown on top. However you want to eat these, if you want to eat them with something savory like sausage, or however you want to do it. I like to do it with just regular old maple syrup, a little butter on top. Yeah, just a fun dish to make. I'd suggest it. Give it a try. Add a little more to your morning breakfast right here. But that's all I got for today. I hope you all have a really good rest of your week. Get out there and vote if you haven't already, just a reminder. And yeah, happy April. We got Earth Day coming up, which is also my birthday, just FYI. But yeah, it should be a great month to get out there and start planting your spinach as well in the garden. It's a great time to get it in. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.